She's Federal Labor's newest recruit.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Kimberley Kitching, a fortnight ago, moments after winning pre-selection for the Senate.
It is a historic evening and a great result for the affirmative action rules of the ALP.
On Tuesday, a nomination was rubber-stamped by the Victorian Parliament in an apparent show of unity.
The nominee, Ms Kitching, is the selection of the Australian Labor Party, the party previously represented in the Senate by Senator Stephen Conroy.
But just under the surface of the Victorian Labor movement, there are deep concerns about what many are calling Bill Shorten's captain's pick.
I think there was quite a lot of dismay just about the fact that the decision took place behind closed doors. It wasn't clear who the candidates were until after the result, and that there wasn't any of this wider discussion and democratic input.
Do you think her choice was worth it, given the angst that it's raised?
I think she'll make a positive contribution in the Senate.
The Royal Commissioners referred dozens of union officials to state prosecutors and federal regulators.
The Royal Commission into Union Corruption's interim report recommended criminal charges against Kimberley Kitching for unlawfully sitting union entry tests on behalf of at least 6 union organisers. HSU Branch Secretary Craig McGregor gave evidence that
in early 2013, Ms Kitching came into my office in the Park Street offices and said words to the effect of, "Did another one, got 100% again." She was boasting in her tone.
Ms Kitching received no adverse findings in the Royal Commission's final report. But in 2015, almost identical evidence was presented to the Labor-established Fair Work Commission, and the conclusions were scathing.
On the totality of evidence, I find that Ms Kitching performed these tests. Ms Kitching's denials of knowledge and involvement cannot be accepted.
Ms Kitching has always denied any wrongdoing. Charges have neither been laid nor ruled out.
Of course, people who are rivals of in the Liberal Party and who want to smear a new arriving senator in the Senate are going to use that kind of material, but I think her qualities will shine through.
Labor's Michael Danby offers a full-throated endorsement of Kimberley Kitching. In fact, he says she should be commended for helping clean up corruption in the Health Services Union by literally piecing together shredded evidence.
Found these bags full of rubbish and reconstituted, like in the movie Argo, all of this shredded material, which the Trade Union Royal Commission didn't want to originally receive. It was all the material on Cathy Jackson's malfeasance, the corruption of the union.
His high praise is notable in the fact that he's the only federal Labor member to offer it.
In the short term, you're right, there'll be some angst by people who are on the other side of factional disputes here in Victoria. But as Paul Keating said, once you get past the mezzanine floor, it's us versus the Conservatives.
That sentiment was on full display in Mr Danby's seat the night before this year's federal election, when a confrontation over alleged vandalism of Liberal polling material was caught on camera.
Got him. Middle class primary, tearing down Liberal Party bunting. How you going, gentlemen? How you going? Oi. How you going? All right, got him.
Among those arrested, though never charged, blogger Andrew Landerhue, the husband of Kimberley Kitching.
It's really unfair to convict a quality woman candidate on the basis of what her husband did.
Other Labor MPs, when asked to endorse Kimberley Kitching, have offered only tepid support at best.
Did you support her candidacy?
Look, I wasn't directly involved, but I welcome her to the team.
Do you think she's an appropriate person to be standing for the Senate, given what the Royal Commission found?
That's a matter for the Victorian branch. I'm a member of the New South Wales branch.
It hasn't escaped the government's attention.
Blocked by Julia Gillard, blocked by Senator Stephen Conroy, as he was then, and stopped from getting into the Parliament. Anthony Albanese, the member of Groningen, missed all of that. He never saw any of that happen. He's never heard of Kimberley Kitching.
Apart from a few brief mentions in Parliament, the coalition, it seems, has been holding back, waiting for Kimberley Kitching to take her seat in the Senate before unleashing their full attack. Across Labor, there's a deep sense of foreboding about what's to come. Lateline has spoken to close to 20 Labor politicians and union figures, past and present, across the factions, who've all expressed despair at Labor's choice for the Senate. None would speak on the record, but privately their comments are scathing, and many have questioned Bill Shorten's judgment at a time when Labor is riding high.
I think perhaps they don't know her as well as Bill Shorten and I do.
The opposition leader is a personal friend of Kimberley Kitching and her husband. Sources close to Bill Shorten insist, though, he didn't intervene directly in the pre-selection contest. But he did insist the candidate be a woman, and many in his camp did fall in behind Kimberley Kitching.
Did you have the support of Bill Shorten?
Well, I think that the members of the Victorian ALP have supported me this evening, and they represent a number of groups.
Lateline understands Ms Kitching received Bill Shorten's backing on 3 previous occasions, but the interventions failed against Tim Watts, Joanne Ryan and Mehmet Tillam.
Madam Acting Deputy President.
But thanks in part to Stephen Conroy's shock resignation with no succession plan, it was 4th time lucky for Kimberley Kitching. The result was almost unanimous, 79-2, due largely to the Stability Pact between the left and the right factions. But close to 20 members of the right in protest didn't show up.
It's very damaging. It's damaging for the wider reputation of the party, but it also undermines the commitment and the morale of many members and activists.
Labor members who want voting powers for the rank and file in Senate pre-selections hope this latest contest will be the catalyst for change at State Conference in November.
There is some dismay when that kind of event takes place, but it also clearly reinforces many people's determination to see reform take place.
2 years hence, I wonder if anyone will remember this conversation. They'll just see, Labor's got another capable person with a good sense of humour who is cutting the heart out of One Nation and the Liberals.
Perhaps, but before she targets the Conservatives, she'll have to deal with hostilities from within her own party.
It was fantastic and very humbling. I feel really honoured to be chosen.